This week on Married to Medicine.
But if I have to choose because you're making me choose, which I feel like she's making me choose because you have no self-control, then it won't be you.
Sound like you're choosing.
Yeah.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the new episode of Married to Medicine, Season 11, Episode 13. Let's get right into this. So they start the episode with little bits of the doctors working, everyone's doing their thing. Then we see Toya and Eugene at their house. Eugene is getting some work done and Toya is cooking. Toya asks Eugene if he has reached out to the men yet, to Greg specifically, and he hasn't. Toya says to him, all of us should have reached out to Greg and asked if he was okay. And she's right. I think it's crazy that they didn't. Toya then has an idea for her and Eugene's wedding anniversary. It's their 16th year. And, Toya loves to throw parties. And the theme of this specific one is going to be the Victorian age. Like Bridgerton themed. That's cool. I love a themed party. But it's going to be a challenge to see how well the entire group is going to be there. Are they all going to be able to attend? So then Quad goes over to Heavenly's house. One day they were friends, another they're not, but they're very close right now. The trip is still very fresh, and Quad says that after seeing how bad things can get, she will not be putting her man in any sort of compromising position like this ever again. Heavenly says that the group is divided, and she says to Quad, you, King, Dr. G, and his wife probably can't be in the same room together. And Quad agrees. Quad says that she wants to get back to the friendships, just the girls, so she wants to do a girls check-in at her house. Now, obviously, Sweetie is not going to be invited, and Quad's not going to invite Phaedra either, which she doesn't need to invite Phaedra because Phaedra is done with them anyway. Okay, so then it is another day, and Jackie, Simone, Heavenly, Contessa, and Toya are there with their husbands. Quad isn't there. Greg isn't there either. Anila is there with her husband, but y'all know Anila will go to the opening of an envelope. Steven is there, but Mimi got stuck in the office. So the reason they are all here in this dance room is because this is all part of Toya's anniversary party. They're going to be doing a traditional ballroom dance type of thing as couples. So Toya then gives them these fancy long invitations that she had for the party, and she titled them The Georgian Chronicles. I like that. Toya says, but in all honesty, you guys, it doesn't feel right to do this without all of our friends. We need Greg, Lateasha, Quad, and King to be here. Contessa says, and Phaedra, but Toya doesn't really seem to care about Phaedra. She's more concerned about the other two couples. So then Contessa says, there might be a restraining order possibility. And everyone's like, what? What are you talking about? How can you file a complaint if you weren't even touched? Contessa says, well, Greg said that there's something called attempted assault. Apparently Contessa's the messenger. So she says Greg's perspective is that he was attacked. And everyone in the room seems to be against Greg's sentiment. Damon says, from what I saw, it didn't look like he was getting attacked. So they're not with Greg at all. Not just with the restraining order, but also with King. They don't think he did anything wrong. Eugene tries to give Greg the benefit of the doubt. He says, well, maybe we remember things differently. I don't know. And then I don't know what the hell Heavenly was on. She was so freaking hyped up. She says to Eugene, if a man says that to your wife, what would you do? If somebody said to Toya to shut the F up, what would you do? There are two types of men. And Contessa does catch that, and she thinks that it's hypocritical that Heavenly is saying this, given that Heavenly has spoken about her husband. But anyway, Eugene agrees that him and Scott will talk to Greg eventually. So then the dance instructor comes and they begin to learn the dance, and that was enjoyable to watch. So moving forward, we see Toya, Mimi, and Sweet Tea meet up to have lunch. Toya gives Sweet Tea the invitation to her party, and then Toya goes on about how she wants everybody to attend the party. She says to Sweet Tea, when Greg said he was going to file a police report, like, why was that? And Sweet Tea says, well, I don't know, that's up to Gregory. That's our business. He felt like King took off his shirt and ran up to him and that he was going to attack him. He charged at him. Toya says, well, everyone is put in a position where they have had their limit, why can't King get any grace? And Sweet Tea says, again, that's up to Gregory. Then Mimi is like translating for Toya, and she's like, yeah, where is the grace? Toya then says, there's times when Tisha is not Tisha. She says to Sweet Tea, you get out of control. And Mimi says, yeah, like I was holding you down. And Sweet Tea says, well, just because I was yelling. And Toya's like, no, it's more than yelling. And Mimi says, like, how can I extend grace to you, but you need to do the same? Toya says, she says to Sweet Tea, can you sit down with Quad? And Sweet Tea says, again, that's a decision Gregory would have to make. And then Toya is going off saying, like, well, what about you? And a lot of people were, like, saying that Sweet Tea shouldn't be saying that, but, like, if you're in a marriage, you do make decisions together. So I don't think it's super far-fetched for her to say Gregory needs to make the decision as well. You know what I'm saying? Toya then says to Sweet Tea, would you walk away from us as friends? And Sweet Tea says, no, I wouldn't. Toya says, well, I can't fight for someone to be friends with if they don't want to fight too. Like, you want me to fight? And Sweet Tea says, like, that's up to you. And Toya's like, well, I don't want to choose sides. And Sweet Tea says, that's up to you. If you want to choose sides, that's up to you. That's your decision. Whew. You guys, this scene pissed me off all the way. This was gaslighting 101. So they're sitting here, they're reprimanding Sweet Tea for quote-unquote acting out of control. Every single time that Sweet Tea has been in a heated situation, it's because she's responding to someone. But Toya, who was throwing hands with Mariah at the beginning of the show, that wasn't an issue. Quad and Toya getting into it at the funeral home last year, that wasn't an issue. Heavenly and Contessa almost going baddies style this season, that wasn't an issue. King going at Dr. G wasn't an issue. But Sweet Tea is an issue? Wow. You know what? These girls ain't no friends. The irony of them saying to Sweet Tea to have grace for King, but they're sitting here judging her? That was unbelievable to me. Okay, so moving on, Greg and Eugene go over to Scott's house. Dr. Greg says no one reached out to me, and Eugene says, yeah, I was just thinking we all needed a little bit of a break. But I heard a rumor that you went to the police over King. And Greg says, why wouldn't I? That man came charging at me like a maniac. It's called simple battery. And Eugene says, but did he touch you? And Greg says, no, but he still did it. And then he says what the possible consequences for King could be. And Scott says, oh, that's serious. And Greg says, yeah, it is serious. I'm going through serious things. Eugene says, I'm just not a cop caller. And Eugene is trying to get Dr. Greg to see King's side, like saying, he was standing for his woman. Quad asks Greg, like, what are you looking for? You're looking for an apology from Quad? And then Greg says, let me show y'all something. After the trip, I was going through all of it, so I worked on this. He opens up his backpack, he takes out his computer and a speaker, and he shows them a video of him singing a song that he wrote and sung. he was singing and he says something about, I want to be free from the bull. Okay. Listen, we all do some weird stuff. Showing it to other people, on the other hand, I don't know about all that. It gave Eugene a good laugh, though, but that was a lot. So then it is time for Quad's barbecue in her house. She's got a marvelous home, extravagant backyard. I was in love with it. So it's Toya, Mimi, Contessa, Jackie, Simone, and Heavenly that arrive. Quad then says to them there are 2 rules. 1 is that y'all must have a cocktail, and 2, no one can talk about the past. She says everything is onward and upward. They eat, then Toya invites Quad to her party, and Quad says, I would love to be there, but I might not be there due to certain circumstances. Now, they obviously break rule number 2, don't talk about the past. I mean, duh, what else are they going to talk about? Toya starts going on this whole thing saying that they're all mature, they should be able to be in the same room, even if it means being in different areas of the room or whatever it is. Simone says that King is a man's man and that it was really amazing that King apologized afterward. And they did show a clip of him saying that they should care about Dr. G's feelings. And I did think that was really nice of him to say. And then Toya and Mimi talk about their lunch with Sweet Tea. And Mimi's like going off. Like she said, well, there was a lack of accountability from her. She has no intention of talking to King or Quad. Listen, the fact that Mimi came into this group through Sweet Tea and she's saying all this is very sad to me. Then Toya continues and she says, all I kept hearing from Tisha was that she didn't know if she could be in the group with everyone. She didn't know if she could be in a group with everybody in there. And all that let me know is that she can't control herself. Toya, were you not there at the sandbar? Did you not see what happened? Sweet Tea saying to you, I don't know, doesn't mean she can't control herself. It means that she doesn't know what situation she's going to be in. I think that is just ridiculous. But anyway, Toya continues and she says, if she puts me in a position where I have to choose, I won't choose her. And then Heavenly says, sounds like you've made your decision. And Quad gets emotional because I guess that means Toya will choose Quad over Sweet Tea. So Quad is very happy with this event with all the ladies, and then they have a group hug to end it all. You know, it really does break my heart to know that these women brought Sweet Tea onto the show. They pretty much just used her for all of this drama and chaos, and I think they really used her to get underneath Quad's skin. And now that things have gone to a boiling point, the straw has broken the camel's back, now they're just ready to get rid of Sweet Tea. It's very sad. It seems like last year when they kicked Quad to the curb. Same tactics, different victim, I guess. I just don't like seeing the entire group being together talking about how they no longer want to be friends with a certain person. I mean, we've seen this pattern on this show a lot. We saw it with Lisa Nicole, with Mariah, with Quad, and now with Sweet Tea. Okay, so last scene of the episode was Jackie going over to Phaedra's house. Curtis went as well, and Phaedra's butler, he's very attentive. He was making sure that the guests were taken care of, they had their drinks or whatever. So Jackie says to Phaedra, I thought about what you said to me that day when you left, that no one checked up on you, and I know we hurt you. That hit me hard. And Phaedra says, yes, I was very, very hurt, and it has nothing to do with you, but it was shady. Heavenly is shady. Jackie says, well, it was my understanding that you knew Apollo would go. And Phaedra says, Heavenly likes to have people be in shady situations. That's who she is. She's the devil's daughter. Jackie says, well, I would still want you to come to Toya's event. Phaedra says, I don't want to be around y'all. I don't want to be a part of a group that does things like these and thinks that it's cute. Like, it's a trust thing. I don't trust y'all. Jackie goes on about healing and will you ever come across the group? And Phaedra says, I don't think so. Then they showed a little montage of some of Phaedra's moments these past 2 seasons of Married to Medicine. Now cue the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16 that comes back next Sunday, because that's where Phaedra is going. That was the end of the episode. Listen, Phaedra's right. This group is toxic. I feel bad for Sweet Tea. But one more thing about Phaedra. Jackie in her confessional, they're trying to push this narrative, which I think is bizarre, that all that mess that went down was essentially Phaedra's fault, because they're clinging onto this whole thing of, oh, well, Phaedra knew Apollo was going and she knew that Jack was friends with Apollo. That doesn't negate the fact that Apollo shouldn't even have been there to begin with. And Heavenly invited him. And yes, Phaedra knew, but she invited him even before Phaedra knew. It's not like Heavenly asked Phaedra for permission. So I don't like that whole thing. Last thing, you guys, let me be clear. I don't think King is a bad guy or that he's crazy. I think he's messy. Would I have filed a police report? No, I wouldn't have. I'm not a police guy either, like Eugene. I would never do it. That seems very Karen behavior. But for none of them in the group to even be able to acknowledge Greg's feelings, someone who almost got jumped, I think that's where it's a little messed up. But you guys, that was the end of the episode. Let me know what your thoughts are. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We've got 2 more episodes of Married to Medicine. It's next week, and then after that it's the finale, and then we'll continue with the reunion. But yeah, you guys, let me know your thoughts. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on next time. Y'all have a great one.